Alright, YouTube, we're back, of course, to talk about some Chrono Trigger, something we don't really ever talk about. Now, the initial plans hopping into this video, sitting down to record, were to talk about the remake that seemed to be confirmed by Yuji Horii himself. Yuji Horii, of course, being the creator of the Dragon Quest series, but also did work on Chrono Trigger, was a scenario writer, but also a supervisor. So here's what happened. So Yuji Horii is at the Naples Comic-Con in Italy, and he's asked about Chrono Trigger, if he can give any kind of anecdotes or anything about it. And then he says something to his translator or whatever. And for whatever reason, the translator says that he mentioned something about a remake coming up of Chrono Trigger, even though apparently Yuji Horii never actually says anything like that, at all. Somebody posted on Reddit with translated subtitles, so we'll play a clip really quickly of this, and then we'll talk about it some more.
Ci racconti qualcosa, se può, di Chrono Trigger, qualche aneddoto, come è nato, come lo vive ancora oggi?
È comunque un gioco che per lui ha lasciato parecchio di quello che ha avuto modo di fare, quindi è comunque un gioco di cui si rende conto sì che è molto popolare e che ancora popolarità può ricevere. Tra l'altro io credo di aver afferrato, se ricordo bene, che è in corso un remake del gioco.
Yeah, for the last handful of hours, it's been very, very exciting. There's something people want. A remake of Chrono Trigger. It's one of those RPGs, one of those old school games people are okay with the remake. There's a lot of remake fatigue these days, right? Remaster fatigue, remake fatigue. But that's what people wanted for a long time. Almost in a lot of ways like FF7. You can say what you want about the 7 remake project. That's its own conversation. But people have wanted a 7 remake for a very long time, right? And constantly with Chrono Trigger. So this is very, very exciting. But apparently, Yuji Horii didn't even say that. And to kind of be fair to the translator, even though he's enemy number one on the internet, I imagine at this point, he does say, if I heard correctly, there's a remake being made, right? And they're obviously at an Italian Comic-Con. So, the questions are being asked in Italian, and they're then being translated to Yuji Horii in Japanese. He's answering in Japanese, and then it's being retranslated back to them in Italian, right? So maybe there's something that was lost in translation. I don't know. I barely speak the one language that I do know, so I don't know how complicated that shit is. But regardless, apparently Yuji Horii didn't say anything in regards to a remake, so it's kind of weird that the interpreter or the translator said the shit. Number 2 is at the end of the clip that we have, he seems to confirm it with Yuji Horii, but I don't know what is actually said to Yuji, and then he says you didn't hear anything or something like that.
Stiamo cercando conferma, giustamente.
Nessuno ha sentito nulla. Okay.
It's a kind of weird situation. Either this guy's not as good at translating as he thought he is, or they think he is, or something. Because it seems like twice he gets confirmation from Yuji Horii that there's a remake happening, but apparently that wasn't the case at all. And apparently what Yuji Horii had actually said was, back then, when talks began about making a game together with Square, we discussed with them what kind of setting it should be. And since I liked time travel, the concept of being able to fight bosses in the necessary eras is how Chrono Trigger was made. So yeah, I don't know how that got spun into the remake thing happening or whatever. I know Japanese is a very complicated language to translate, something we talk about off and on the channel, right? And trying to translate into another language too, so I don't know. I can't speak on that, but it is based on what Yuji Horii said, I don't know how you spin that into a remake, but I don't know shit about Japanese. This does suck, man, because this was kind of a W for Square Enix, right? This is something that, from what I've seen, just in my comments alone and just kind of on social media and things over the years, people have been kind of asking for a Chrono Trigger remake for quite a long time. And this seemed like it was finally happening. We got it from, the guy himself potentially, right? Or at least we thought we did. And it's hell yeah, dude, this is actually something people have been asking for from Square Enix for a long time, and it seems to finally be happening. And then it doesn't. And it isn't. But maybe the response online will maybe spark something in Square Enix to do that, make a remake at some point. It does come down to what kind of remake it is, right? What do you do? Visual remake, overall remake. And if you're overall remaking it, trying to make a more modern kind of game, more modern RPG, how much does that take away from the magic that is the original Chrono Trigger? I don't know. That's kind of a complicated thing. It's one of those games too. It's very beloved, and it's you can potentially fuck it up by doing a remake, right? We've seen that to a certain degree with 7 Remake. For a lot of people, anyways, they feel that way, right? So I don't know. It's one of those things that's very, very complicated when you try to remake this beloved game. The best thing they could do is a visual remake, and then just maybe change or enhance what needs to be changed or enhanced about the original Chrono Trigger. I can't speak on that either, because it's one of the many iconic games I've never played. I didn't grow up with the Super Nintendo, right? And my friends who had a Super Nintendo didn't have RPGs or Chrono Trigger or nothing like that. It was very platformy kind of games that were popular back then. So it's just one of those games I missed out on in my childhood. That, to be honest, I don't even know if I would have played Chrono Trigger back in the day if I would have even liked it, because I wasn't really into that genre of games, and I think a lot of it would have went over my head anyways, right? It wasn't really until I played Pokemon on the Game Boy and kind of fell in love with a very basic RPG, and then kind of branched out and started playing Final Fantasy and stuff, that I really fell in love with the genre itself. That is to say that I would like a remake that way I can play to like modern consoles, right? I know it's available on like Steam and other shit like that. I think I can, if I read correctly just now online, you can buy it on PS3 maybe still. I don't know. I do have a PS3. That might be a way I can play Chrono Trigger. We'll see. Sucks, my dudes. I wish I was here to bring some good news. That was the initial plan with this video when I heard about this like a handful of hours ago. I knew when I got home that I would make a video about the Chrono Trigger remake. But by the time I got around to making the video, it'd come out that Yuji Horii did not confirm that. And it's kind of why I'm glad that I make my videos a little bit later in the day. Because I'm sure that a lot of people hopped on this as soon as it came out and made videos about it. Got everybody excited. And then it's like, your video is kind of pointless at that point, right? Crazy often that does happen on the channel because I do my videos later in the day that I have like more kind of up-to-date information on a particular subject that, you know, everybody's talking about. Naturally, of course, all the stuff we talk about in this video will be linked in the description below. But that'll be pretty much it, my dudes. It sucks. But maybe one day the Chrono Trigger remake will indeed happen. Or if it's not already available on modern consoles, just fucking port it. It's like available, it was like on 3DS, it's on, I think, mobile phones, right? It's on Steam. If you have a Steam version, why can't we just put that on consoles? Right? Remake and remaster are cool or whatever if they want to do that. I'm sure a lot of people will be excited for that. But also, a lot of people just want to be able to play these older games on modern consoles. Like, the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, like, people are excited for that. But also, like, people just want to be able to play Tactics on their PS5. Like, just put it on modern consoles. And then maybe work on a remake and remaster, too. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Search works in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @YT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Low Gain or leave it like Cobain.